Laurie Houston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
Good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. I have Victoria Lorient-Faibish back. I've been excited about this show since you started it when we talked about it last month.
Wonderful.
Narcissism is
humongous.
I had a narcissistic mother. I have a narcissistic mother. Not as bad as the ones that are in your book. Not as bad as, I wouldn't say, she has a disorder, but she's very narcissistic. And so growing up, anyway, we are going to talk all about narcissism and relationships, and I'm just excited because it's a great
It's a good topic, and it's a very popular, needed topic to really be fleshed out.
Yeah. So let's talk about the disorder. Let's talk about what that means to have parents that are in that and how that affects us.
Oh my gosh. It's massive. So I see it on a continuum. So we've got narcissistic personality disorder here.
Right.
And then we have us, people, the regular human that has narcissistic tendencies. We're all a little narcissistic. I mean, when we're born, it's like, feed me, take care of me, me. I don't care if you haven't slept last night. Feed me now. Give me what I need now.
Right.
That's us as children. That's us as humans. Yes. We're all about ourselves. We're all about ourselves. And then we get socialized to have compassion for the other person, to have a sense of empathy and interest in how the other person is feeling, where just let me say this, when that becomes too much on the spectrum of I feel you too much, it's codependency. Right? So, and that's a codependency disorder as well, where it's like it's all about you, it's all about the other person, it's never about me, and it's all about my moods rise and fall based on the other person's feelings or expressions.
Having a parent that was narcissistic, we tend to fall into that of to being that codependent person.
Yes.
That's who we become.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate
byproduct.
Yes, I really, really caution people if they came up in narcissistic households. Let's just talk about what is it.
Yes.
How do you know you've come up with narcissistic parents that are destructive, that are creating collateral damage, that are creating personality disorders other than, really, really affecting some problems here.
Right.
So you are in a narcissistic home with a parent or two that are narcissistic and possibly have a personality disorder, when the only feelings in the room are the narcissist's feelings that matter.
Yeah.
All the other feelings need to be subjugated in order to be okay. So the narcissist will mock the other person's feelings, belittle the other person's feelings, put down the other person's feelings, will turn it around and feel like the victim constantly, feel sorry for me, take care of me. I'm the one that has the issues. I'm the one that you need to pay attention to. I'm the one that, you hurt. The only reason I'm this way is because you were like that. There's never taking personal responsibility for what they've done, what they've said. Apologies, well, that's, usually apologies are either done never,
right,
or they're done in a bid to manipulate the relationship. That's where it becomes a disorder, as opposed to simple, just narcissistic, my lovable narcissism. People have... Some people, you're my lovable narcissist, because it is all about them, but they're not trying to be horrible and they're not trying to be destructive, but yet it's all about them.
Yeah.
So you have to be cautious with relationships with even lovable narcissists. Okay,
right.
Very, very cautious. And the children of narcissists will tend to either normalize and seek out other narcissists, because that will be like how they have become codependent. They have become, how can I turn myself inside out to make that narcissist parent okay? How can I solve the problem, find the solution, be perfect, be the achiever? Or on another spectrum would be complete rebellion, the drug addict, the total failure, I can never get what I need anyway, so full apathy and depression, I'm never gonna get what I need from this person that's supposed to love me and take care of and be with me as a child. So the person becomes completely and utterly apathy-oriented, depression-oriented, anxiety, social anxiety, profound worry around sort of avoidant personality, where they're like, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to participate in anything, what's the point anyways? A real trauma.
Right.
A real trauma. So no matter how you slice it or dice it, it is incredibly destructive to be this child of a narcissistic personality, especially if the personality is a disorder.
Right. Yeah. As I said, my mom was very narcissistic. There's things that I remember the most. Like, I don't like to play games, like board games or any type of games.
Because what would happen?
Because my mom was a really bad loser, but
There
she
you go.
was a worse winner. Like,
mocking,
yeah,
gloating.
Yeah, like, and you know, we would.
So your feelings weren't important.
No. Oh no, and belittle, like belittle, like it was just like
the shaming behavior.
Exactly.
You know, feel bad about yourself. You know, you're not that. You know, oh come on. You know, grow up. Like you're feeling, never acknowledging your feelings.
Right.
As many good parents do. Oh, you know, my kid's feeling bad. Let me not think about me. Let me think about them on how they're feeling. You're laughing because you're like, that just never happened.
I'm laughing because at grade 13, my mother went to my school, called me on the intercom through the principal's office because I was supposed to come home and make my bed. I was in grade 13. I was 19.
Yeah, your mother has narcissistic personality. And I don't know if it's a disorder, but that's pretty disordered.
Yeah,
She couldn't just let it go.
No.
So that's another piece. They're obsessive, perfectionistic, merciless about that.
And when my brothers had kids, she couldn't let them be the center of attention. Like everybody would come to see the baby, right?
Yeah.
She would have to bring something up.
Trauma, drama.
Oh, absolutely. So we were focused on her.
It's all about them. It's all about the narcissist, and they cannot share limelight.
Right.
They can't. And then children of narcissists have to be careful to not become narcissists themselves. And that's what I tell people. You know, it's really interesting, Laurie. I have over 400,000 views, 420,000 and counting on my YouTube site.
Right.
Over 89,000 views are on the narcissistic videos alone.
Awesome.
I mean, it's crazy because it's awesome, but it's like, it's because it's such a relatable concept.
Right.
And the damage. I mean, the letters I get, Laurie, the letters, the emails, the torture that these narcissists have inflicted upon their children is just heart-wrenchingly awful, terrible.
Well, I still won't play games to this day.
No.
Like, I hate them.
Yeah, you get triggered.
Like people want to play, and I'm like, you know what? I know myself.
Yeah.
I'll just get upset.
You'll feel
like I'm not worthy, like it's just like I just can't do it. Like people go, well, it's for fun. It's like,
no,
you know,
it's
you
not.
say it's for fun.
But then you become
but
serious.
Then it's competitive and it's not fun. So that's the one area of my life that's like, you know, you really should get over that. But it's like I just know myself enough to say, you know what, play.
Well, I would say that if I were giving you any kind of sort of feedback on that is, do it for half an hour and monitor yourself.
Right.
Work on it so you can grow that part of you up, because that part of you remains stagnant and stuck at a young 7-8-year-old, 9-year-old age, whatever it is, or whatever. And then, but just you want to grow that part of you up so it's not betraying you, and because in life it would be really great to be able to play games, right?
Well, there's some games that I like.
Yeah.
But if it's a competitive nature to the game, I don't like it.
And you know, that's exactly the point, is that the narcissistic parent usually, I mean, I don't want to be here all about blaming the parent, because the truth is that the narcissistic parent probably came up with a narcissistic parent themselves, and they learned it, and it's a survival mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. It's also really probably laden in, there's some real correlationships between narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
So borderline is always fighting, up, up and down constantly, never can't maintain relationships. Everyone's wrong other than themselves. Can you see how that would be kind of relating to, the narcissistic personality piece, I get very, very concerned about young people when I work with young people because, especially eating disorders. A lot of women with eating disorders have come up with a very narcissistic father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see so that. It gets very, very serious where the narcissistic father, I mean, I work with someone currently, it's just unbelievable the lack of compassion that the father has when that father is talking about bodies and women and how bodies should be thin, women should be thin and pretty and perfect dainty and feminine. And this woman is herself quite slim.
But she doesn't see it.
No, she's totally anorexic, and she is now taking it to the next level, the level she thought she would never go down, which is the level of bulimia plus anorexia, where the destruction just starts to really amp up. It's a kind of a crazy bit of destruction.
It really is. I've worked with girls like that too.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you don't know how to, you want to help them see a healthier reality.
Yeah.
And it's really about self-confidence. It's really about helping them learn to love themselves and accept themselves. And
well, the collateral damage to being in a family of with growing up with a narcissist is that there is no way the person is going to come out of it unscathed.
Right. Well, I can tell you how many narcissistic relationships I've been in.
You didn't suffer depression, it looks like, necessarily, or crippling depression, but a lot of people have crippling depression, crippling anxiety, eating disorders, addictions, other personality disorders, terrible choices in terms of their partnerships.
I guess I've been lucky because the spiritual aspect was always there, right?
That's exactly right, though, Laurie. You went down a spiritual path, and therefore, for you, this is not as. It seems to be that it's not as damaging as that it could have been, as it could have been.
Plus, my father passed away when I was only 13, so having a narcissistic mother and having the only person that really understood me. So my abandonment issues were like huge. That's kind of been my core thing.
Yes.
More so than the narcissistic, but I would pick men that were narcissistic for sure.
Why? Did you just relate to them? They were more. Let's be clear. Narcissists are very charming. They're very charming. They're very seductive.
Yeah.
They're very fun.
Yeah.
The party is around the narcissist.
Right.
It's like the party is there. They're fun people. They're interesting people. They are. They're charming, and also the parent will be totally different with the outside world than they are with the kids.
Of course.
Maybe not. Well, later on they're just the same. People get their number and then it becomes just the same. But I've noticed that they're like, people say to me, why is it that my mother can be or my father can be so great with their friends, their colleagues, and then come home and affect, bloody hell in terms of, yelling and screaming or just manipulating or nitpicking or criticizing or belittling or abandoning or, all these things that are just so damaging, incredibly damaging.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town, so I grew up in Owen Sound. Literally, my mom knows everybody. So, she's that
betrayal
person.
Of confidence is a massive...
Oh, yeah.
They gossip a lot and talk a lot.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make a lot of drama. A lot.
She grew up in a family where there were 9 kids, so I'm sure that had something to do with how.
Where was she in the 9 kids?
She was the oldest girl, but I think she might have been. I think she had 3 brothers ahead of her.
3 brothers, wow.
2 or 3, I think.
So she was the oldest girl.
Yes.
3 boys ahead of her.
She had to quit at grade 9 to start work.
There you go. She didn't get her needs met.
Not at all.
On a very clear level.
No.
So she was going to put that on her kids.
Right.
If I didn't get my needs met,
neither will you.
Neither will you, girl.
Right.
Like girl, the girl-to-girl thing. Do you have a brother?
I have 2 brothers and a sister.
And how were they like in terms?
My brothers were quite a bit older, so I don't really know what it was like for them growing up. I know that my dad was really strict with them, like really hard on them, and he wasn't with me. I was the only one that was adopted.
You had a little. Oh, okay.
All right. And so he was He was
gentler.
He was very gentle. He told, like, the last conversation I had with him, he took me for a walk on the, like, we went to a river and we watched the frogs and stuff, and he basically said, Laurie, you can do anything you want in your life.
Good guy.
Very good. But that's not what he said to my sister, and she's only 3 years older than me.
Wow.
My sister had to be a nurse. She didn't become a nurse. My cat's saying hello.
Hi there. Hey, buddy.
Just relax.
I'm a little allergic to you, darling.
That's right, honey.
Yeah, it's okay. No. Not horribly allergic, but just a tad allergic.
Okay.
What a nice baby.
Yeah.
Oh, very sweet. Beauty. Little narcissist, eh?
Wants the attention.
Yeah, well, I don't blame her.
Him.
I don't blame him. He's like, hello. Pay attention to me. This is the first time, though.
Well, he's come close before, but yeah, this is the first time.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the time he's been sleeping with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's probably interested in this conversation. It's a good conversation.
Because, Mom, you're not narcissistic. I might be a little bit.
Yeah. The only thing about overcoming narcissism, people ask me, so tell me, is it possible to overcome being a narcissist?
Right.
No. Do we have a call? No, we don't. Okay. No. I think that the only way, my experience with narcissists is A, they don't want therapy because they're fine.
Of course, yes.
And B, if they are going to enter into therapy, they're not as bad. They're not as on the, and when they are in therapy, the only way that they'll actually learn from therapy is I wish the gift of despair upon them. They become really, if they've lost everything, they've lost relationships, they've lost people, but no, I usually go, yeah, you're not teachable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I say, unless you're teachable, nothing's changing here.
Right. Unless
you do something different, nothing's changing here. But the personality disorder is so entrenched that it's very, 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 very tough to change.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to our first break.
Okay, great.
You're listening to News for the Heart. I have Victoria Lorient-Faibish with me. We're talking about narcissism. We're getting to the heart of what matters. And we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Laurie Houston, and I have a great show on bmajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural clairsentient and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685, and I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Houston. I have a free weekly advice column with bmajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Houston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Houston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back.
Hi.
This is News for the Heart. We have Victoria Lorient-Faibish here. We are talking about narcissism. We talked about the parents. We know kind of what the parents are. I think
what it's like to be the child of a narcissist.
Right.
And if you are the child of a narcissist, you're not crazy. Just need to tell you that. You're not crazy, and I hope that you get some good therapy to help you rehabilitate your self-esteem, your sense of empowerment. You are not alone. I have, as I said, go on my Ask Victoria, my YouTube site, and listen to my my videos on it. You are not alone. So many people commenting on it. Massive community about it.
Right.
So I want you to know you're not alone and you're not crazy. You are not alone and you are not crazy.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's real. Yeah. No, yeah.
And you didn't get a fair deal. I just need to tell you that.
No.
As if life were fair. It's not that life is fair. If life were fair, all the good people would be rich and healthy, and all the bad people would be poor and unhealthy, and that's not the way it goes. So it's not about life being fair, but you gotta bum rap.
I do wonder though how prevalent narcissism is.
I think it's incredibly prevalent. I think it has
varying degrees.
Well, yeah. I mean, the question is, has it become more prevalent? People talk about kids today being more narcissistic because, it's me, and what do I need, and it's immediate. I don't know. I mean, I'm not talking about that type of narcissism, although I think that is people not having compassion or awareness for their environment and for other people is dangerous, very, very dangerous. I think that's why people are so prone. We're seeing all these kids shooting people and killing people. That's a lot of a narcissistic way of being, narcissistic disorder way of being, where it's like, I'm not getting what I want, and why are they getting what they want, and I'm not, and so I'm deprived, and I'm gonna, hurt people.
Right.
I'm gonna hurt people.
Right.
But in terms of the little kitty cats, wow, that's a lot of hair. So
yes, it is.
The thing today to talk about at this segment is what's it like to be in a relationship with a narcissistic person.
Yeah.
You've obviously attracted that narcissistic person, so you've obviously come up in narcissism, so then you attract that into your life. And then what's happening that's going on? Well, children of narcissists have a very poor self-esteem, and they have a poor sense of self, and they're very codependent, where they are constantly presented with a problem with the narcissist, how they need to be looked after, served, problem solved. Also, narcissists are very much about I'm the victim, as I said earlier. Yeah. So that it's just absolutely, I'm the victim, I'm not getting what I need, and life is unfair, and then the codependent will get in there and try and solve their problems. I just had a call yesterday, and it just broke my heart because this woman was calling for her daughter. I never book in therapy for someone who hasn't called themselves. Okay. Because I work with adults, adults who are making their own phone calls. Yeah. And she wanted to have me work with her 18-year-old daughter, who has terrible anger problems. And so I asked her to give me a little bit of a description as to what was going on and what the situation was, and she described that this girl was very angry. And I said, well, why is she so angry? Has she come up in a very angry environment? Kids aren't just angry. It's not the kid's bad. The kid, suppose she punched me out. I'm like, well, did you call the cops? I mean, it's like, no, I didn't want my daughter to go to jail. I'm like, okay, so I said, I need to tell you right this. I'm going to give you some free advice right now. Number one, I'm not going to take on your daughter because she's the one who's, therapy is not for those who need it. It's for those who want it. Nice. So your daughter has to call me. But number two, free advice coming at you right away. Why is your daughter so angry? Let me know. She's like, well, her father is a terrible narcissist, and I saw your video on narcissism, and he's been terrorizing us. I'm like, and why are you not leaving? Well, because he has all the control of the money. He has all the control of what we do, what we don't do. And I said, okay, well, that's why your daughter's so angry. Because all she sees is her mother not empowering herself in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So your daughter is, she do her a favor, call the cops, get her the hell out of there, And you, my dear woman, get a job. Now, I don't care if you work at Starbucks. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you work at wherever you need to work at. Get out of there. Stop letting that narcissistic, personality disordered father and husband of yours control and destroy your child's life.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's happening. Yeah. Because her anger levels, she has no way to outlet this. She will destroy her life with this anger. Yeah. Get out of there.
It's hard to take, though, if you're not there yet.
It's absolutely impossible to take, but what's it gonna take? Your daughter killing herself or killing somebody else? Your whole life being completely destroyed because you've not empowered yourself at all, even a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one case study that was heartbreaking. Just yesterday, 4 phone calls of this nature. Yes.
Wow.
Because, you know, on the YouTube I have my number, so people do call looking for different therapeutic processes, but I'm always cautious to know, you know, are you ready for some therapy? Do you really want some change?
Right.
You know, another young man sent an email in, a long email, about how he keeps attracting. He came up with a narcissistic mother, a narcissistic father, because of course they do attract one another. They fought bloody murder through his fought crazy yelling volatility through his upbringing. And his grandfather, who lived with him, was also a narcissist who controlled everybody. Of course. And then this kid coming up, super smart, science, medical student, blah, 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 you know, keeps attracting narcissistic friends who yell at him and scream at him. What? Girlfriends. And he says, I don't want to take this from anyone else except for I'll take it from a hot girl. And I'm like, there's your problem, because you'll take it from somebody. You know. And the question he poses in his email is, how do I stop attracting narcissistic personalities into my life? Number 1, you notice that that's what you're doing, what you are. Number 2, you repel what you have now normalized. You repel what you have now normalized. You actually have to intervene, do an intervention on yourself, and repel consciously, even if they're so attractive to you.
Right. Because they will be attracted to you, because we are attracted to those that are going to help us grow.
That's right.
And so they will be attracted to you.
But how much do you need to grow in this way is the question.
And that's the problem. How much do you need before you're going to make a change? Like, how much are you going to take? What's it going to take for you to make that change?
Right. How much do you need to learn in these emotionally violent ways? That's what I want to say to people, is that it is emotionally violent experiencing. You've done it enough at home, you've done it with a few relationships, and now you have the power to say, stop. Slow it down. Stop being such an autopilot person. Be more conscious and slow down so that you can be conscious enough to go, oh, that's what's going on here. That's what I'm bringing into my life, this extremely controlling, manipulative, victim-oriented, volatile, you know, and another tenet of a narcissist, which you recognize in your mom, but I'm sure it's like, as soon as the attention is not on them, a temper tantrum will occur.
Of some sort. I mean, you know, yeah, absolutely.
And so you need to kind of go, okay, here we go. and the other thing is that a lot of narcissists are addicts. Not all, but there is a definite correlationship. Addiction in and of itself is highly narcissistic.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, because just imagine you're in a relationship with someone who drinks, and they have clear knowledge that drinking affects you terribly, but they don't make any effort to in any way work on their addiction.
Right.
And even though you're crying and pleading and begging, please stop, stop, because it's killing us, it's killing our family, that person does not. So then, to me, that's pretty narcissistic behavior laden in there with addiction, which makes them stay in that behavior even more. And let's face it, narcissism is all about fear. You know, fear of loss of power, fear of loss of control, fear of not being loved, fear of abandonment, and it's just expressed in that very dysfunctional way that has a lot of collateral damage.
I'm trying to think if I was ever like that when I was younger, and I think I was. Like, I think there was a period where I probably was very narcissistic. The beginning, like in my 20s.
What pre-awareness is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm thinking about it, and there's lots of times where I was very angry, and I wanted, you know, I wanted to be heard in a way, because I was never heard when I was a kid. And I think that I probably made choices that were more narcissistic, and then everything changed when I kind of had that awakening around 29 sort of thing. And
wow. Do you remember at all, like, one of the things that I ask people is, what are the consequences to your behavior? Are you paying attention to the consequences of your behavior? That's the healing road out of narcissism. By the way, I have many people say, is there hope for narcissism? Like, is there hope for narcissists? And I have a hopeful stance, but not if it's fully engulfed in narcissistic personality disorder. I don't have any hope for that. I just say run in the other direction.
Well, if you're if you want to stay healthy, if you want to have any sort of self-preservation, I mean, if you want to be who you want to be, and you'll never get there if you're going to be with somebody who doesn't want to change, who will never see that they're going to.
If you're in a room with a narcissist, like an uncle or someone who you're not, be charming, be polite, and then ignore.
Right.
That's how you deal with them. Be polite. Be sort of pleasant, and then ignore them.
I chose a very interesting business kind of spiritual partner at one point that was so narcissistic, not a romantic partner, but a spiritual.
Right. So
narcissistic, and I think actually both of them were. And the thing is that they were kind of cultish, so they had, but it was because of it was the narcissism. Like that was kind of the field that would engulf them. Like it was. Did
you just repel them quite quickly, or were you very attracted for a while?
There was an aspect in the beginning that I didn't think. I thought they were walking their talk, and then I realized, oh my God, they're so not walking their talk.
No.
and
they don't.
No.
It's do what I say versus
Yeah.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Tried to say that he could give you the helicopter ride up the mountain versus having to climb it yourself. And
really?
Yeah, exactly. And then the problem with that
tell me how that works.
The problem with that is you don't get to learn anything from it.
No kidding.
But
I'll just
he couldn't
take you
do
up
it
there.
anyway,
Yeah.
so it didn't matter.
No, yeah. I've met I've been around this sort of holistic spiritual bend for many, many years, at least 25 or more, actually more. And I've met the guru-itis type people, very guru.
Yeah.
I'll take you, to the top and just pay me.
Oh yeah.
Just pay me this amount of money, so that that may be running the other direction. I think I learned it once and lost a few hundred and went, or even more than that, and went.
Lucky you.
I'm out. I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. Yeah, because for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I have an experience with narcissism myself, and so for me, it's like that's like trauma, and so I'm walking in the other direction. I literally have to walk in the other direction. I have to run in the other direction.
Right.
And so when there was that seductive aspect to the guru, spiritual guru, mentor, meditation mentor, etc., that's very controlling, I immediately go, yeah, that's not me. I have to do it my own journey.
That's what I learned.
I have to have my self culture. My self culture. I need to be myself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I learned, but my whole as growing up has been looking for family.
Oh, okay, that's your MO. That's been your drive.
Because as an adopted child, I didn't, and a narcissistic mother.
Yeah,
no, I do have a half brother and a full sister.
Oh.
I've met my half brother. I've tried to meet my full sister a few times.
Not so much.
Every time we set something up, she cancels. So she's not ready. When she is, I guess I'll hear from her.
Right.
But yeah, so,
that's hard.
Well, I've always been looking for family. So the last one. That was very narcissistic, probably the most narcissistic I've ever been in. I was in a relationship that was part of the group. I felt a real deep soul connection with everybody in the group, so it was a little bit more difficult to step outside of it.
Yeah.
Once I realized what was going on, it was easier to step outside of it, but the damage had been done because he interfered in the relationship, he interfered in my business, he interfered in everything.
Yikes.
So I know the narcissist, and of anybody, that was the most narcissistic relationship I'd ever.
Boundaries are so important when you're dealing with a narcissistic boss or a narcissistic employee or a narcissistic friend or a narcissistic any relationship. You need to know that the only way you're going to actually be able to navigate long term is with clear boundaries. And here's the thing, they'll hate it.
Right.
So that relationship will probably fizzle. As they detect that you are not manipulatable, they will you will repel them almost. You will repel them as soon as they realize, oh, I can't manipulate her. I can't,
then
influence
the gossip
her.
started. then the gossip.
And they badmouth. And,
yeah.
Yeah, because the narcissist is all about making something really bad or really good, aggrandizing or totally minimizing.
Exactly.
So bottom line is that you want to make sure you're not the target of the minimizing, but at the same time, you don't have control over that.
No. And I should have known better because I walked into it hearing some of that stuff. So I should have known better. I just didn't expect it.
It's a very, very, very difficult thing to detect if the narcissist has become really, really adept at coping with, society and life and relationships, and they've seduced people into their realm, into their lair, and then they found a way to keep them there, whether because, greed, and it's like, well, if you stay with me, you will succeed, and only losers don't stay with me, and do you want to be a loser anyways, and only people who are success driven, they'll literally do that so that you'll go, I want to be part of the group of the succeeders, especially if you're coming up in the world. So that's the manipulation. Have the courage to not, if you hear someone saying you don't want to be a loser, you want to be with me because you'll be a winner, clear sign to go in the other direction.
Yeah.
Be willing to let go of that. Be willing to lose that.
Yeah.
And trust that something good will come to help you on your journey.
Yeah. It was that one. That was probably the most challenging of my life lessons. That last one, because it really messed with me. But I'm there. I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How long has it been? That's a rather personal question.
5 or 6 years.
Okay. Gotcha.
But and in fact, the relationship that I was in just recently, like within the last 6 months, that actually came to apologize, which was nothing that I ever expected.
They've apologized to you?
Not the person that was, but the relationship that I was in that was interfered with by that person. Okay. He came to apologize and say, I see where I made some mistakes and stuff. So it's like, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I never would have expected it. So I'm pretty happy. I was happy about that. Because now we can build a friendship.
And friendships with narcissists are we can talk about that in the next step.
Yeah, he's a tiny bit narcissist, but not anything like the teacher.
Yeah. The teacher.
The teacher. I don't want to say names.
Beware of the gurus.
That's it. I mean,
beware
of the
guru-itis and the gurus generally.
Yeah. It's just an interesting process to go through that I'm sure it was attracted because of my mom. Like, I'm sure that it was the relationship.
You needed to resolve it.
Exactly.
We repeat the lessons so that we can resolve them.
Right. And I would say that she was nowhere near as narcissistic as he was. Nowhere near.
Okay.
I mean, he would definitely have the disorder.
Yeah.
Like, definitely.
The personality disorder.
Yeah.
So those neural pathways were grooved in quite seriously.
Yeah. And I'm sure he did have a rough upbringing.
Whatever.
I know.
That's not for us to worry about.
To me, it's like
upbringings.
To me, it's like
you're
supposed to be a spiritual leader, and
yeah, right. How many spiritual leaders have you met that are not narcissistic? I've met maybe one, and they're not even a spiritual leader.
Right.
They're just a real mentor.
Right. I think I've met a couple. I like somebody actually from India that was,
That's right.
Yeah,
Me too.
like a real guru.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah,
from Tibet. A beautiful monk from Tibet, not narcissistic.
I've met some
very anti-narcissistic.
Yes.
But I have to say that if they're sort of a leader of a group of people, where they're using that traditional guru type of energy, serious narcissism.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
I think that's
and I think that's tragic because people are looking for leadership, and the measure of a person is how do they act when no one's looking,
right,
and when they have all the power.
Interesting.
Yeah, the measure of a person is when no one's looking, how are they acting? When no one's listening, how are they acting? And when they have most of the power, how do they act? And if they're acting in these ways, very, very, very red flaggy.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good place to break, maybe.
I think, this will be good. All right, we are going to go to break. You are listening to News for the Heart. I have Victoria Lorient-Faibish with me. We have been getting to the heart of what matters with regards to narcissism. We'll be right back.
All right.
Hi, I'm Laurie Houston, and I have a great show on bmajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural clairsentient and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685, and I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Houston. I have a free weekly advice column with bmajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Houston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Houston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back.
Hi.
This is News for the Heart. We have Victoria Lorient-Faibish. We are getting to the heart of what matters with regards to narcissism.
Yeah.
We thought we'd come back and just talk about, those people that are really kind of stuck in, and what we can do to sort of maintain, I guess, healthy boundaries, maintain well,
let's say you're someone who has no power and you have to live with a narcissistic person. Let's say you're a teenager, a kid, you're obviously or married to somebody who you have decided you will not leave,
Right.
or you're caring for an elderly parent who's a narcissist. You need to know that you have to have a healthy inner world. Journal. Write down your thoughts. Write down your thoughts and feelings. Don't let those thoughts and feelings just get buried and get completely sort of put aside, because then that will be a pattern of my feelings don't matter and who I am is in function of this person only. Write your feelings down. Find other people to talk to, even, non-narcissistic people, obviously. And if you can't find another person, read. Journal, get involved in activities that matter to you. Don't let them take over your life. That's the thing that I want to tell people is that you can survive a narcissistic relationship that you are obligated to stay in by at least having you acknowledging you. Acknowledging you. Create a new normal with these people. Obviously, you can't amputate your parents. I find it very, 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 very difficult when people want to amputate their parents, but create a new normal. Don't see them daily. Don't talk to them daily. Don't find a way where you have a clear boundaried moment in time, once a month, twice a month, 2-3 hours, a meal. Something you're doing for them. Maybe you're helping them out in some way, but in a very, boundaried kind of a method. They want you to, I don't know, fix something for them. Fine, you'll go and do it for 2 hours on a Tuesday or whatever it is, and that's it. You don't let them hijack your life. You don't let them take over your life. You are self-advocating no matter what. You're saying, I matter, I'm important, my needs are important, I have a self-culture that I need to honor, that I need to nurture, that I need to evolve, and that self-culture needs to be the priority of my life. That is what I want to just say.
That you can do as an adult, for sure. Right.
But even if you're a teenager, honestly, if you're a teenager living with a narcissistic parent, that inner world development is going to be very, very, very important, where you have this self-acknowledgement.
Right.
You can do that regardless of the situation you are in.
Right.
Don't go toward drugs to numb yourself out. Don't go toward alcohol to numb yourself out. Don't go toward addictions to numb yourself out.
But that is what everybody does. I mean,
I know, and I'm giving you the strong feedback to really resist that. Really, really resist that.
Because the inner world can be just as high an experience as any drug can give you. But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a matter of, I guess it's just knowing that type of relationship that you're having with your parent isn't normal, isn't what you should have with a parent.
And thank goodness for the internet.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that people were sitting isolated in their worlds and going, I guess this is normal. Everyone's like this.
Exactly.
No, we have the internet where people are talking about narcissism, where people are saying that's not okay, that's not normal, that's not healthy, and I'm here to keep propagating that information. It's like, your narcissistic parent is not normal, that is not healthy, it's not the be-all and end-all, it is not the only way to have a relationship. And just know that one day soon you will have the ability to free yourself from that financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, period. And don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. You are loved regardless, and you are not alone regardless. So that is what I think Laurie and I are really trying to say by doing a program dedicated to narcissism. You are not alone. You are cared for. You are loved. And just because your parent does not give you that messaging does not mean that you are not loved or cared for, and that you're not alone.
Right. And I would say, like, one of the things that helped me, especially in school, was finding,
a mentor,
one of those
a teachers
that just was there for you and boosted your, your ego, I guess, because that's really what we needed, or our self-confidence.
That's right.
We needed that as a young child because
some affirmation.
Yeah, because it wasn't there from.
No.
And I just had my mother at that point, so.
Remember that the tenet of being the child of a narcissist is that their emotions are the only ones in the room that matter.
Right.
So if you can find someone who makes your emotions important, that will be incredibly healing for you, And
I had like an extreme fantasy life. Like I would, I would go on walks, and I would, that's the only way I could cope.
That's right.
Like
it's such a tearing down of a person, being the child of a narcissist and being in a relationship with it's such a tearing down of your very core. There's a lot of mocking, as we said earlier, and a lot of tearing down and criticism, and not letting you just have your own feelings, or your own dreams, or your own aspirations. So develop that inner world, and develop and seek out other people that will validate you and emotionally validate you, and know that will fill you, and you don't have to only be in function of people that will validate you later on. Right. But it'll evolve. It'll evolve by you seeking out some healthy people.
Right. So get involved in groups. Find some
activities that are meaningful.
Exactly.
Sports and activities that are meaningful.
And that's why boys are really into sports, right? Like that's that and the testosterone that they have to get rid of. But
theater for me was really important growing up. Theater, poetry, all of those things. And you got the heck out of Owens.
As soon as I could. As soon as I went to school, I was like, okay, I'm gone.
Yes.
Although I almost made a mistake. I almost went to Sudbury.
No way.
Because if I had gone to Sudbury, I would. Well, I took social work. And that one course was allowing you to go into the social work program, but Sudbury would have been
sort of another microcosm.
And it's a big drinking university, so it would have. It would have been brutal. Like if I didn't come to Toronto and go to Ryerson,
don't numb out.
No.
Don't numb out with drugs.
It just wasn't me. My body would just reject it too quickly.
Yeah.
So
there's awesome mindfulness-based meditation is wonderful. Pursue mindfulness-based meditation. It's such an easy system to train and discipline your mind, so that you're not so much at the mercy.
And I think Ryerson's program was kind of cool because it sort of brought out some of the more spiritual things that some of the other courses probably wouldn't have, but because Ryerson's a little bit different, it did. And so it really helped me. And then, of course...
And Ryerson, great location.
Yeah.
Such cosmopolitan, cool,
yeah,
relaxed, fun.
Yeah. No, I loved school social work there.
So you have your clear. We're gonna start to just summarize this notion of, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it's important that you can't get out of. It's important that you have a healthy inner world, that you draw boundaries, that you create a new normal, that you experience a sense of I matter, I'm important, I'm. Sorry, I think there was a cat in here.
My
so
cat.
That's okay. That I am someone whose emotions and feelings are not to be constantly just disparaged. You are important. You matter. You're not alone. And that is something that I want you to get from this if you're watching. You know.
Yeah, and just like get yourself involved, because the more outside interests you have, and they may not like it, but the more outside interests you have, the more you're going to have a healthier self-image and a healthier way of avoidance, or just kind of setting yourself in a different space
versus unhealthy avoidance with drugs and alcohol and all that stuff.
Exactly. Because I did volunteer work.
That's good.
She didn't really like it, but at
took
a
you away
certain
from her.
point, well, and as she felt, oh, I have to drive you, and it's like, no, just give me the car, I'll go myself.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, then it was much better for her.
Right.
Right.
The other thing is, if you're watching and you think you're a narcissist, get some help.
Yeah.
Get some help. Don't yell and scream at your kids.
No.
They there's evidence that shows, I was just looking at some studies, that yelling is just as damaging as beating, as physical abuse.
I so
just
believe
as damaging. Yelling and verbal abuse is just as damaging as physical abuse.
I would totally
and it's
agree with
incredible, the evidence, and also a close, sweet, nurturing experience post episodes of yelling does not heal the yelling experience.
No.
So violent communication, narcissistic ways of dealing with your kids. You are not the only person in the room. You are not the only emotion that matters. You are not the only thing and experience to be considered.
Right.
And it's not a threat if other people have that attention.
Right.
Work on that. Right. Work on that. You're probably not even watching if you're a narcissist. I have to say.
Right.
But if you suspect you are and you're at all interested in being helped, that's the beginning.
Yeah. And hopefully you're not at the personality disorder part, but just normal narcissism.
People have rejected you because of your selfishness.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, maybe I need to look at myself. Good. Look at yourself.
But even if you do have the disorder, I'm sure that there are things that if you're really interested in wanting to...
You know what, Laurie? It has to be massive psychic surgery.
I agree.
It has to be really, really strong.
But you have to want it.
Correct. Therapy is not for those who need it. It's for those who want it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. It's a major, major philosophy of mine.
That's a good one.
You got to be motivated.
Because otherwise you just turn in stone. It's like you're just going around in circles.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
You just don't ever get anywhere. And I've had lots of people like that, but
no, yeah. It's not something. So interesting that we talk about this narcissism thing. It's not something that people are blah blah blahing too much about.
Right.
I find that it's just sort of under the carpet. No, talk about it.
Right.
Air it. Shine a light on the monster.
Right. The elephant in the room.
Exactly. Shine a light on the monster.
Yeah. And
even if the monster is your mom.
Right. And I'm not saying I don't love my mom.
Well,
and
exactly.
I'm not saying
they're people that really conflicted,
Right.
We love these people.
Right. And I can take her in small doses.
Yes.
Very easily.
Hour at a time.
Yeah. My phone calls twice a week.
Yeah.
And I go to Owenstown maybe like twice a year,
yeah.
and I'm good with that.
That's good enough, yeah.
I mean, she's getting older.
Yeah, 86, you said.
87 or, yeah.
Wow.
So she is, actually, she might be 88 now.
But they don't die. They're really, really,
I
they're
said that
strong.
To her.
Yeah.
I've said that to her.
You're going to outlive me. Yeah.
I don't know if she'll outlive me, but she's like, you're definitely going to be into your 90s before you go.
Well, because it's a crazy coping mechanism.
Right. It's
a crazy coping
and she keeps herself busier than I do.
Yeah.
Like, she has more social things going on.
Yeah.
Like, she's very, very social, which I'm sure helps, but the narcissism definitely invades some of her relationships, for sure.
Yeah, she's not obviously a personality disorder. She still has relationships.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks everybody's her friend, right? But
everyone loves her.
Yeah, exactly.
They love me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the most part, they probably do.
Yeah.
You know?
She's charming enough.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was the charmer. He was definitely the charmer. I have no idea if he was narcissistic. Right. I would not say that he was. I just wasn't, I was only 13, so I don't know. And he treated me so much differently than my other siblings. So, but yeah, my mom, yeah.
So I hope people really do get a lot out of this. I'm going to just mention a couple things. My book, I talk a lot about it. My book is called, I want to show my book.
Except it's going to look backwards.
It's going to look backwards. It's okay. Find Your Self-Culture, Moving from Depression and Anxiety to Monumental Self-Acceptance. I'd love you to, I'm going to be doing some webinars on a variety of pieces, one in July and one in August, and maybe a couple even in July, a couple in, depending on what we decide to do. But I want to talk, if you're interested in participating in the free webinar, find me on Facebook at Find Your Self-Culture, in quotation marks, self-culture quotation, and on Twitter at Self-Culture Now. Come to my website, visualizationworks.com, my book website, self-culture.com, and you know, follow me on Facebook, Victoria Lorient-Faibish, because if you follow me, you'll be able to get some of my updates on different webinars that I'm going to be doing. And if you want to join my mailing list, I want to keep you informed, and I send out free videos, free articles, free information in this manner. So join me. It's a cool journey.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm honored that you have joined our show. I'm
right on.
Very excited about it. We're going to do our next live taping on June 27th.
Right.
So if you have questions, I'm not sure what it's going to be about yet.
We're still to be determined, but it'll be something very interesting, I'm sure.
I guarantee it. It probably will be something about relationships.
Something about relationships, exactly.
Yeah.
Human interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Doesn't need to be intimate, but definitely it's all about relationships.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. Well, you have been listening to News for the Heart, and I, again, always honored to have you, Victoria. We have a kind of dynamic energy that's kind of nice on the air. So.
Absolutely.
All right. So join us again. You've been listening to News for the Heart. We've been getting to the heart of what matters with regards to narcissism, and we'll be back.
Have a question for Laurie and want to be on the next News from the Heart show? Drop us a line via instant feedback at bmajor.org. News from the Heart is brought to you by Intuitive Soul and is produced by Major Radio for Clear Channels, iHeartRadio, and bmajor.org.